to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. The good bad guys of Wrestling Podcast are back talking all things of the week that was in professional wrestling. I'm Brian. Kevin is here. Joe is here. We are just over 1 week away until SummerSlam at Ford Field, which the three of us will be joined by over 45,000 members of the WWE Universe as a last ticket check. But there is one person who I'm not so sure is going to be joining us at SummerSlam. Anybody want to guess who that person is? I'll give you a hint. Huh?
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, it could be. Not who I was thinking of.
Kevin Owens?
Oh, could be. There's rumors he has an injured, maybe ribs.
Jimmy Uso.
He's in the hospital. These are all good guesses. But the person that I was thinking of is L.A. Knight. Guys, last Friday, part of that qualifier four-way to go to then face Santos for the right to face Austin Theory. And to my surprise and the surprise of many, your winner was Rey Mysterio. So it would seem like a natural move to have LA Knight versus Austin Theory. Doesn't look like that's happening. And this is a head scratcher to me due to just how popular this guy is right now. Crowds go nuts when his music hits. He currently has 4 of the top 5 selling shirts in WWE. And as of recording here we are, July 27th, he does not have a match or anything scheduled for SummerSlam. So I ask you guys, and Joe, we did this with you last week when we talked the nicknames. It's time for the panic meter. All right. How worried are you that WWE is dropping the ball with LA Knight? Joe is holding.
I like the rhyme too.
Wait and see 2023. That's what I got to say about LA Knight. Wait and see 2023. Every year, there's always a person on the roster where we go, wait and see how this plays out. Wait and see. And sometimes it works. A lot of times it does not. I'm on the wait and see bandwagon here. A couple weeks ago, when we were talking about it, what do you do with LA Knight after you lost Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
I think we all agreed we didn't want to see him face Austin Theory. We felt that he was better than that. So why would we be upset that we got what we wanted? That's the thing about fandom now. It's like, well, we wanted to be going at this higher level, and then he's put into the fatal four-way, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll see this. But it's like, that's not the story. And he's above Austin Theory.
Well, clearly.
So,
as far as crowd reaction.
I'm going to throw this out as LA Knight is Mr. Wait and See 2023.
Kev, where you fall on this?
I am almost identically aligned with Joe.
Because you're smart.
People go to their inkjet printer and just type the word, yeah, on that 8.5 by 11 flimsy ass paper all around, you've made it. Right. Not just the poster boards, but when those people when people used to do it for Becky, right? Just the man, right? On the 8.5 by 11.
See 2017 with Cesaro.
Yeah.
With
Cesaro section.
Good. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
I think, this will work. This is working. The fact where last Friday, how loud that place has gone, and I'm a broken record because the previous Friday, the previous week, it is a slow burn, right? It's like sipping on a nice glass of bourbon, right? You take a sip, you got that nice little burn going down your throat. It doesn't sting. It's not big punch. It's gonna happen, and this is why. And we're all gonna agree to this. You throw them on SummerSlam for a gimme match or a dud match. That card is stacked as of recording. We'll go through it, predictions, everything next week. It is a stacked match. You throw him on there, unless it is an extremely high profile match, he deserves better than that. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen with
He
it.
gets lost in the shuffle if he was just the Austin Theory match.
Bingo.
I don't know, guys.
I
would disagree on that just because with how this momentum is, if it is him and Austin Theory, the crowd is going to be so far behind LA Knight that it would be a moment if he were to win. So I wouldn't displace that or disperse that.
But would it deflate the next match?
Bingo. That's the thing. It could possibly get the best reaction of the night. And they want Roman or Cody to be the loudest of the night. They don't want, I'm just thinking if I'm Vince or someone high up, they don't want LA Knight to be the best reaction of the night. Even though he pops in, we have the LA doo-doo. You know that place is going to be going crazy. I'm going to give me an 8.5 by 11 piece of photo paper right now. I'm bringing it, fellas. I'm going to be cheering so loud.
Just get a dry erase
print me one too. Oh
yes.
Yeah, you can.
I'm printing
That's
off
your gimmick.
The whole row. The whole row is getting them.
Do it for the whole row.
I got like 50 of these things in my classroom. I mean,
bring them all then, Joe. We can write all kinds of fun stuff in there. So call your shot, guys. Will we see him at SummerSlam? Whether it's some segment in the ring, he interrupts a match, maybe. Yes or no? We're gonna even see him
absolutely
that night.
Oh yeah,
it's a lock.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Joe.
I'm going to say yes right now, but it's going to be something along the lines of how Drew McIntyre was at SummerSlam last year.
Little promo thing that he did, right?
Yeah, just a little promo thing. Okay. Gave a shout out to the kid in the front row.
That's right.
Saying that no one wants to see Roman win. But it was I think it's going to be something. I don't think it's going to be like a lot of rumors are going around. Like we're insiders and we're in the know-how. It's like, oh, he's going to come out and Randy Orton's coming back. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's just going to be something quick to the point. I mean, he was technically on SummerSlam last year with the Max Dupree
the models commercial.
The commercial for the Pure Life water.
God, yeah.
See, I got a memory, so I remember and that was hilarious. By the way,
that was the best product.
They were just pouring the water
for water
ever. Yes,
yeah. What an amazing job!
And shout out to Pure Life handing out free waters outside right before we got in. It was hot
on that hot Nashville day. Yeah, the belt. I remember that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say it's just gonna be like a Drew McIntyre promoting the next event, which is Payback.
Okay. We'll see. I'm a little more worried than you guys, and I'm just basing this on the recent track record. And there's 3 instances that we can talk about. Number 1, he did not appear at WrestleMania, where seemed like a logical fit. There's 2 nights. His name's LA. It's in LA. That seemed like a missed opportunity. The second one was Money in the Bank. Now, thinking about it afterward, I was like, there's probably better choices, but still, no one would have complained if he would have won. And number 3 is just this U.S. title thing. So it's like, wow, there's 3 opportunities to really run with this guy that they didn't take. Now, go ahead, Joe. Yep.
But looking back on it, hindsight, they made the right call. Except for the WrestleMania thing. They could have put
like I said, Money in the Bank.
Except for the WrestleMania thing, that Money in the Bank, Priest was the right call.
Yeah.
The storyline's better. The US title, LWO versus LWO, the right call. And I'm already calling it now. It's gonna be shenanigans and we're gonna get a triple threat. Ray Santos and Austin Theory for the and who says it's gonna be on SummerSlam? It could be on SmackDown the night before. Because that's how far Austin Theory has fallen since WrestleMania. I mean, that's another thing, a topic of who's ever fallen that far after beating John Cena at WrestleMania.
Well, what do you do with this guy? Yeah.
The whole lead up to see who he's going against has been forefront, and he's not even really been on at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been either at the commentary desk or ringside.
And they didn't even let him talk last week at the commentary desk because Michael Cole hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
I think they've lost confidence in him. The crowd has.
I know. He can't even get the heat. It's just stagnant.
Dude, he's boring now.
I think just other people have passed him by.
create a wrestler without the neck brace.
Grayson Waller, perfect example.
Grayson Waller,
almost similar, cocky, model looking dudes, and
trash talking. 100%.
One is charisma, fighting edge.
And said Edge
giving him the on the mic. Exactly. You swam, Waller. Like, and then Austin's like
nothing
there.
Yeah. He's gotten boring and just like, that's someone who's everyone should be worried about but the thing is, no one's worried about him because no one cares anymore.
You just gave an Austin conclusion.
Yes. See, this is what I think. This is why I brought it up. I think Brian is afraid LA Knight is going to fall into the Austin Theory trap. Yeah. He's shaking his head yes for those of you who are not watching on YouTube.
No, I am. Not because of him or his ability, but when you have missed opportunity after missed opportunity, eventually the crowd might just move on to the next thing that they can get behind. Yeah, that can happen. I don't think that's likely with him, but I think you can't rule it out. But here's the other question I wanted to ask about LA Knight, guys. How did this happen? And I say that in the context of like, he wasn't on WrestleMania. He hasn't had some big feuds or anything.
Mountain Dew Pitch Black.
Well, that's before, right?
Yeah, that was Royal Rumble.
So like I talked about it, I got a great cut and beard trim from Barbara Ryan today. And we talked about this, and it's like with, for example, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the moment that you can go like, oh, that's when it happened, was the Austin 316 promo.
Yeah.
But even that took time. Even that took time, though. They didn't go with it. That's the biggest argument where you can think of LA Knight too. Austin 316, he wasn't main eventing for a while. He was on the free for all.
Yeah. It still took time, but that's at least when you can always pinpoint that, like, hey, okay, there's something here and we're starting to get behind. I don't remember anything with LA Knight that he's done to equate to why he's so popular. Do you guys remember anything?
I sort of can, but go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say, it's funny. So back in NXT, right, it's totally flip-flopped because when Cameron Grimes and LA Knight had their big rivalry, right? I was like, okay, LA's entertaining. Yeah. Big, huge Cameron Grimes fan, right? Now they're both in that fatal four-way. LA comes out massive every week. But yeah, the dude loses a lot. He's just so good on the mic. They show kids in the crowd cheering. They show adults. They show ladies, all ages, all different types of people, right? Cheering for him. I can't think of a moment. It almost just feels like
it just
flip
happened
of a switch. Somehow. It happened. And that's the thing. There's not many people on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or NXT or AEW that I will like stand up because I'm excited to watch. Usually I'm in my old man recliner chair, feet up, laid down. When LA's coming on, I jump up. And I seriously don't really know why. It just feels like I am like hypnotized when I hear the synthesized LA noise. Joe, you have a moment you think you can pinpoint?
No, it wasn't a moment on TV. It was a moment that you talked about. What happened was he was still doing the live events. Mm-hmm. He was getting reactions from those crowds.
Yeah.
And because you even said like
you were there
in Fort Wayne, like in February,
yeah.
He was like, wow, they went nuts for him. That's the advantage that WWE has over like every other promotion.
Yeah.
They still do live events. They still do house shows. So when you get a reaction out of the house show crowd, and it happens in city after city for a guy's not on TV, then it slow builds into let's put him on TV and see what he's like on the camera. And he didn't even need to. And here's the bonus. He's on SmackDown. their champion is hardly on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So you got to fill that time somehow when Roman's not on there, and you can't have the bloodline on, except for unless you're in Madison Square Garden, you get 45 minutes to start the show. He was getting TV time to see how it went, and he was losing, but he was still basically, I mean, they partnered him with Rick Boogs one week, and he destroyed Boogs, and they lost. But it was just like, basically, they fitted him with the right feud. And the right feud when he started was against New Day. Him and Xavier Woods going back and forth, if you remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, did. Yeah.
You know, Woods, New Day are always going to be over no matter what. Heel face no matter what. So you got New Day, him calling them dorks. What do you call them? Like the new dorks or something like that, or Nerd Day, something along that line.
Yeah.
But that's when it started to become real. And then he's on week after week after week after week, just on TV. But that's all you need. So
apparently
it's been a slow build.
It has.
And all of a sudden we get this slow build that's like, you know, it's organic.
100%.
It's not a forced nickname. And we just want it to be forced. Let's not let it force. Let's do wait and see 2023.
Yeah. It's been wild. It's been wild to watch. And the story is not completely written yet by any stretch.
Oh, let's not say finish the story.
I didn't say it.
Okay.
It's not somebody else's gimmick. So who knows? Who knows how it'll be? But boy, it's something monitoring, because last Friday's result was certainly a surprise. Let's move on to this Sunday.
Oh, I just pictured you after, like, not moving on to Sunday. I pictured you like all those YouTube videos of like idiots who, like, their football team loses a playoff game, like taking their flat screen down and just beating the crap out of it. Going like, no, that was me. No, that's what I pictured you doing. I'm like, I'm laughing at the whole time. See, Kevin, we don't know what that means because our team doesn't make the playoffs, but people who actually have good football teams, like they get upset and ruin TVs.
Yeah, that was not the case this Friday. I was actually in your old backyard, Joe. I was at the Fraser Fair.
Oh, wow.
Friday. Yeah. So I was I DVR'd it. But my first inkling of something went wrong was like text between you and Jason that were like alluding to something that without saying it, that I was like, nah, couldn't be. He had to have won. And my heart did sink a little.
But when he lost, when he lost, I was like, it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense.
I still don't feel that way completely.
Where's the drama with Santos Escobar versus LA Knight? Where's the drama? You're already going to assume that LA Knight's going to win. And if he didn't, then that would be worse. Now he's not even in it, and they can do the LWO storyline of a group that's over.
And he's still hot.
You're right, but I guess I was still, and it's probably amped up a little bit more because we're in the building next Saturday. So the idea of we're going to get a new U.S. champion to the hottest guy in the company, and we're going to be there, that got my backing. And so when it didn't happen on Friday, it surprised me. It really did. But nevertheless, we shall see, because that's how wrestling goes. As I was saying, Sunday night, NXT, they've got a fun show, the Great American Bash. And here is the lineup. We got the debut match of Gable Steveson versus Baron Corbin. We've got your NXT North American champion, Dirty Dom, taking on Wesley and Ali. Yeah, I just did. We've got Blair Davenport and Roxanne Perez in a Weapons Wild match. We have your NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale in a submission match. NXT Tag Championship match, Gals versus the D'Angelo family. And your NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov. Kevin, which of these matches, any and all of them, are looking forward to the most?
The most Dirty Dom versus Wesley versus Ali. I think that is going to just be nonstop action. The card actually looks pretty good. NXTs are usually pretty fast. It's not a huge card. But I was wondering,
six matches, yeah.
So it will officially be on Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yep,
Okay.
Sunday at 8:00 on Peacock and WWE Network for those who are not listening in America.
I think I'm excited to see what Stevenson has to bring to the ring. Is he just going to do some suplexes and that, or is he actually going to show, some I'll say some growth and look a little bit not as good as Kurt Angle? He's not going to be anywhere near Kurt Angle. That's going to take multiple years. But is he just going to throw Corbin around? Is Corbin going to cheat somehow and beat him? That one is a little bit interesting too, because you can't just keep burying Corbin. Barry and Corbin. But
I like it. I
think the lineup looks pretty good. I think that the Dom Wesley Ali match, though, I think is going to be the highlight of my night.
And you, Joe?
This is really me here. It's like I haven't been replaced.
Yeah,
this is the match I'm looking for.
You used to really hated this guy.
I still don't like him. Yeah. But I want to see what Stevenson can do.
Yeah.
I want to see what he can do. And it's like, he's never going to be Kurt Angle. Why? Because he only won 2 gold medals with a fully functioning neck? Is that what the difference is? No, I want to see what he can do. Corbin's been rejuvenated going to NXT. And that's, again, TV time. That's all you that's how this business works. I mean, of course, main event's going to be amazing. Mello and Dragunov. I mean, we know what each one of those guys can do. That will probably be the best match of the night. The North American title, I mean, that'll be okay. That'll be entertaining, but I mean, will Dirty Dom still be the champion? Will Judgment Day hold all the cards after this weekend? Who knows? Tune in on Monday. But the one I'm looking forward to the most involves Corbin.
Yeah. Well, this is not the same Joe from 2 to 3 years ago.
Let me ask you this.
That's good. Progress.
So which Gable will we get? Will we get more Kurt Angle, or will we get more Reed Flair when he took down Eric Bischoff on that episode of Nitro?
I think we're gonna get more Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I
think we're just gonna get a machine that's just
a lot of suplexes.
A lot of suplexes, a lot of like basically power moves. That's what we're gonna get. We're not gonna get the tiny cowboy hat going like I feel like a real cowboy. We're not going to get the milk truck. We're not, because he doesn't have that personality. That's why it's taken him so long, because he's about as interesting as a box of cereal. Like,
did you see his segment on Tuesday where he was like making his announcement and Corbin interrupted him? I don't know if you guys saw that, but
when you look forward to Corbin talking, I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna need it. We're gonna have to see what he's like in the ring. We're gonna have to see what he's like inside of a sports entertainment product, not the Olympics. And if he can bring it in there, then get him a Paul Heyman, get him a mouthpiece, get him somebody who can just basically turn him into the next Brock Lesnar. Because that's it. I see him being more that way over Kurt Angle, because there's only one Kurt Angle. There's never going to be another Kurt Angle. There's never going to be another Brock Lesnar, but that's the path he should take, not the Kurt Angle one.
I'd say Chad Gable has shown the most Kurt Angle of any wrestler that I've ever seen, where he's amazing technical. He's got great comedic timing.
He has a personality and the crowd.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
He can make fun of himself, Jordy G.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's something with him that reminds me of Kurt. I'll tell you guys. So I started putting this together earlier on Tuesday, and at the time they only had the top 4 matches of Carmelo Dragunov, the tag champs, the women's championship match, and the Blair Roxanne match. Those were the only 4, and I went, looks okay. I don't know. And then they added this triple threat with Dirty Dom, and then they added Gable Stevenson and Corbin, which when that happened, I went, whoa, this is great. So they did a great job on Tuesday of selling me a ticket, as they say in the business. that I want to tune in for this. The only other thing I'd say is, did you guys see the homage to Stone Cold and Booker T's grocery store brawl that Blair and Roxanne had on Tuesday? Did you guys catch that by chance?
No.
No? Oh, all right. Go find it. They did this like the exact same ridiculous grocery store brawl, except it was more like in the local convenience store. So check that out. That was fun. And so then they took that match and made it a weapons wild match. So I was like, okay, now there's something there. So really looking forward to how that plays out. I love Thea Hale. I don't know if she'll beat Tiffany, but her and this Chase U thing, it always entertains the hell out of me. And the championship match, like you said, Joe, I mean, Carmella and Dragunov, that sounds like that could be possible match of the year contender if they do it how they could possibly do it as best they can. So a lot of potential. Looking forward to seeing that on Sunday. Let's go back the day before, though, Saturday. And hey, guys, guilty. I think I've watched the debut episode of Collision and haven't watched a minute since. We all in the same boat, pretty much,
Yep.
or
I've watched clips. I haven't watched a full episode.
Okay,
we're part of that 500,000 people who watched the debut episode and then haven't watched it again.
How many people now watch? 6?
What?
No, like we're not talking about ratings, but it's just basically like, it's the debut was like a Dynamite, which was like in the 900,000 range if you're going with ratings, which I don't care about. And now it's been in the 400, 500,000 range, which on a Saturday night's good because
it's still good for a Saturday.
People actually have a life and they go out and they do other things besides watching, and it's just too much wrestling.
It's wrestling fans, right?
Yeah, we're part of this club here. Yeah.
What are we doing next Saturday?
That is true.
Yes. Guilty. But
What,
nevertheless,
how are they going to look on premium live events? That's going to be the key.
Yeah, next week will be the first.
Next week will be the first test to see what their audience
how
is.
That looks. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't been watching.
Yeah.
I'll report here and there.
I don't know if I'll be live, but I will DVR because I do want to see what happens with MJF and Adam Cole taking on FTR for the tag titles. We didn't talk about it last week, guys. They won the tag tournament. They still are doing the buddy thing, but they at least had a little bit of the tension after where Adam held on to the title for MJF for like a little long and stared at it. And MJF kind of snatched it away and they seemingly patched things up. But guys, I mean, you can make the call. What's more likely to happen? MJF and Cole win the tag titles or someone turns between MJF and Adam?
So we have to predict one or the other?
Yeah, well, I mean, just what's more likely to happen? I figure it's got to be one of the two. I can't see FTR winning and Max and Cole just being like, my bad. Like, but we're still a team, buddy. I feel like something would probably go down if they were to lose.
I will. I'll give my opinion on that, and then I'll give you what I really think is going to happen. Out of those two, I would say MJF and Adam Cole will win. What I think is going to happen is there's going to be another team that causes shenanigans that ruins the match, and then it will have a rematch at the pay-per-view. That's a big thing. But you do that, MJF not going to wrestle there, so it's so tricky when you have MJF in two extremely high profile spots, right?
Yeah. I maybe not a tag team. Maybe Roderick Strong interferes.
Ooh.
Because they've been having that little like, Adam, what are you doing? And Cole saying, like, trust me, leave me alone, you stalker.
Generic creator wrestler.
Yeah. Aww. So maybe he does something that I could see that. Okay. Joe, I mean, if you had to guess.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I said it was going to be MJF turning on Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. I'm changing my mind. Adam Cole on Dynamite got what he wanted. MJF said, win or lose, I'm giving you a rematch.
Yeah.
And that's what Adam Cole was going after anyway the whole time. Adam Cole's going to turn on MJF.
Wow.
Adam Cole is going to turn on MJF because he already got the rematch. So now it's going to be turning into like, well, I'm not giving you the rematch, but it's like, you said you would, blah, 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 whatever. At least they don't have to do the 5 weeks of you're facing everyone from your past thing.
Yeah.
But Adam Cole's going to cost MJF the match and then belt shot at the end, holding it up to end Collision, holding up the AEW championship. Is he going to win? No.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the setup for this whole thing.
I love it. I think that's amazing. The only thing that I would say to counteract that is,
and Adam Cole's turned on all his friends.
Oh yeah.
He gave him the kiss of death when he said, you're like a really good friend. It's like, there you go. You're turning on him.
Yeah. I can totally see it. The only thing that I would say that would make me not go all the way with that is MJF is such a good heel.
He'll still be.
He's probably a guy that never should be the face in a feud. People will still cheer like they are now, but I almost feel like he should just like always be that a-hole. And
he still will be.
If Cole turns on him, it's not quite the same.
Like I said,
he's the one who got screwed over for once.
Like I said a couple weeks ago, if Cole turns on him, he basically all he has to say is, I did this to you before you could do it to me.
Yeah.
And then MJF is still the bad guy.
It's a ready-made story.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of the only things I've been loving with AEW for the last like 2+ months, I would say, that they've been kind of doing all of this. I mean, the original MJF Adam Cole match that they had, that was the time limit draw, that was maybe my favorite AEW match of the year. So these guys have been doing some really good stuff. I hope they win. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I love the weird buddy tag team that's kind of friends but kind of not, like Team Hell No and Rock and Sock Connection. So I'd love to see them just like, let's go all the way with it. Let's give them the titles. I don't think that's likely to happen, but that's what my vote would be about what I'd want to see happen. Next week's Dynamite is number 200 episodes. So we've especially the last couple of months have been a lot more critical of AEW, but 200 episodes is still something that deserves a lot of kudos. So I thought we could just quickly share a favorite moment from Dynamite. I'll start. I have 3 that popped in my head. Well, a couple. First off, Sting's debut. That was during the pandemic where like not too many people were at Daly's place, but that was a big deal, that because AEW, Jericho coming on board and Moxley coming on board, those were big deals. But I mean, Sting he's the icon. So that was a big deal. Going, wow, like they really got something going here. I love that. I loved Cody's last promo that he ever did before he left, reminding everyone of what he did. I left WWE. I went to New Japan. I did all this stuff. It's fantastic to look back on it now, knowing that, oh my God, he actually did leave the company. And the match that him and Sammy had the next week.
Not according to YouTube TV.
Yeah. Explain to the people.
Well, anyone at like DirecTV, YouTube TV, whatever, they always they are a little slow with updating their picture of what's on live. So I sent a picture to the boys of my YouTube TV because I joined AEW Dynamite late, and it was Cody.
Yeah, it's like
on the cover. It's like
there.
It was just Cody. It's like, I think you're trying to get people to watch or faulty advertising. But then you said, well, my DirecTV still has Sasha Banks on SmackDown. I'm like, yes, that is true. So did YouTube TV.
If I'm recording SmackDown, that's what. Yeah, Sasha's
but you know what?
on
Cody's
there
still
with,
in the game. His WWE game came out before his AEW game.
Yeah,
Brian,
he was on AEW.
Was that Cody Sammy match the ladder match?
Yes. So that was the next week.
Yes.
They had I think they had the 2 TNT titles, and the moment where Cody's on top of a ladder. Sammy climbs the other one and like jumps over top of it and hits a cutter on Cody. That would be, if Cody hadn't left, that would be the AEW version of Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off the ladder in WrestleMania 17, because it was insane. Love that. The only other one I love, I've said this time and time again, Le Dinner Debonair with MJF and Jericho. That's my number one. I've never seen a Broadway musical on a wrestling show. It is the best. So salute to AEW Dynamite, 200 episodes. Incredible stuff.
When you post it, name your favorite moment. That's the only thing that came to my head. One, singing. Number two, dancers. Number three, they're dancing. It was fantastic because you're almost just like, what the fuck's going on right now? And then it keeps going, and then it keeps going, and then it keeps going, and it's just like, this is a beautiful segment. Like, it was so good.
Hey, Kev, remember the setup too, where the waitress
they were eating
comes
dinner.
over? Like, I'll have mine medium. And so Jericho's like, excuse me, I'll have mine medium rare. They just going back and forth. It's so ridiculous. It's so great.
And you have the shirt.
I do. Yeah, I should have worn it tonight. I wore my Brody Lee shirt. Speaking of AEW great moments, with the tribute show that they did to him, which was fantastic. But yes, that was worthy of a shirt for me. I'm a little more selective than some people on the show, or some people who aren't on the show at this moment, but you know what I mean. That is a Hall of Fame segment for yes. Thank you, Joe, for pointing him out.
My souvenirs from my California trip. I might have taken some pictures.
Waka waka. So was there anything else, Kev, to mention besides the amazing?
I think that's just number 1, 2, and 3 on the podium.
Love it.
Well, I guess I don't get to talk about Dynamite moments. Fine,
no,
whatever.
You get your own podium, Joe.
The show sucks. Boo. It's been going downhill. We know that. But I'm going to talk about 2 things that were real. Like, not silly, but real. Like, you felt a connection with the crew that was putting the show together. Number 1, the Brody Lee tribute show.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, that was awesome. Number 2, Moxley's return from when he went to rehab and he came back. From the
rehab, yes.
Yeah, that's another one that's like, that was a real moment. And then, of course, he kicks a guy out for heckling him and told him to get the F out of here, and they forgot to hit the buff beep on that one, TBS. And number 3 was the beginning of the pandemic, where there were no crowds, so they were innovative enough to have their performers in the crowd. They did this before, before WWE did it. That was the thing. WWE ended up bringing the NXT guys and girls in there to be in the performance center, but AEW did it first. They had the heels on one side of the ring, they had the faces on the other side of the ring. It was like a glorified lumberjack match for mostly all those Dynamites, but it was real. It was like innovative and it was fun. That's when AEW was fun. Like those when it's real moments, not that you feel. I mean, while the ones that you guys mentioned were entertaining, I think they're not as memorable to me.
So seeing Sunny kiss every time at the pandemic shows.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, wait. My favorite moment was Moxley bleeding that one match. You remember that one?
Yeah. Oh, we'll remember it always.
All 200 episodes.
Out of 200 episodes, Moxley bled probably 142 of them.
Yeah. Can somebody give me a super cut of every single episode that Moxley has bled? Like, give me 5 seconds of each episode, and we can see what that amounted to.
I'm concerned, to steal a line from the Jerk or whatever. I'm afraid he's going to cut himself shaving and only air's going to come out. Like, he doesn't have much blood
Nothing left. No, it's
The Jerk was a movie from the 70s, boys.
It was. Yeah, that was an old one.
Why are they shooting these cans?
Okay. He hates these cans. And Moxley's bleeding. Dang.
Yeah. It all goes
American
together.
Red Cross is like, stop taking our blood.
Oh, we need it. We need it.
No, we need to donate blood so the American Red Cross can pump blood back into Moxley after he's done with a submission match.
The John Moxley like
blood
annual blood drive blood transfusion memorial or something like that. Oh yeah, well, through all the highs and lows, 200 episodes, like I said, it's pretty amazing. Want to talk about another quick thing that I thought was very interesting when it came to AEW. So it came up in the context of it's being reported that Orange Cassidy, along with being, of course, a regular performer, is also a now producer and agent backstage. And there's a wrestling author. His name's Brian R. Solomon. He wrote this on Twitter regarding the news. He said, "I'm actually a big fan of Orange Cassidy and his work, but in a company that has Arn Anderson, Jake Roberts, Taz, Billy Gunn, Christian, and he named some more, shouldn't they be the ones being tapped to be road agents?" But then here's the interesting part. He continues, "When I recently interviewed Bret Hart for my book, he told me that he offered to agent for them, but they only wanted to bring him in as a manager, like Tully Blanchard or Arn or Jake the Snake. Imagine having the ability to have Bret Hart coach your talent and saying, no, just be a TV character." Guys, what's your reaction when you heard this? Is this just a complete miss by AEW? What did you think when you heard this? Oh, there's the F- from Joe on the dry erase.
Yeah, F-, but in reality, I haven't finished writing it. It's because old Tony is not running a promotion. He wanted the Fig Fed. And that F- is turned into the Fig Fed. Of course, he wanted Bret Hart to be on TV because it's part of his collection. Having him behind the scenes, he can't show his new toy. It's like, oh, I just got a mint condition Bret Hart, but it's inside of a case, inside of a safe that no one can see. No, he wants it on display. Yeah. And Bret probably didn't want to do that. He was already on AEW once before it was Dynamite. He's the one who brought out the championship title.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
They already had him on AEW, and they didn't do any. They didn't capitalize on it. He goes to them, offering his wrestling knowledge to help out because they definitely need it. And they're like, no, we'll just if this story's true, I need two sources.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
One guy's saying, yeah.
I mean, maybe Bret has a great wrestling mind. He still does. But if you're just gonna use him to just come out there and be in the corner of Jungle Boy, then you don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Kevin, you're the Bret Hart guy. What would you grade this story?
It's probably some with FTR ish, right?
Yeah,
there's okay, rumors. Yeah. So it's probably something like that.
You can be CM Punk's lackey,
but outside of say Nightmare Academy or what QT Marshall's school, yes, agents, putting together the matches, you're not really coaching and training like these wrestlers. So it's either in AEW you have really accomplished or very green. And the very green have been green for 100+ episodes, right? Some are getting better, but it's not leaps and bounds of an NXT Performance Center. If Bret went there and helped coach, he could give those minds. He can give a lot of advice backstage, but the fact they pushed over or only wanted him to be backstage, it had to have been. I think he's better than that. That's for a Dean Malenko. That's for a Dean Malenko or a Fit Finlay. That style, right? Or Jamie Noble. I think he's pretty high up in WWE backstage. But I think it'd be not a good fit. But if they had a school and a development and all that, yeah. I could see that. But manager, shit, that would have been fire if he would have been with say an FTR and things like that though. But
they already blew this with Regal.
Well, there's a huge, but there's a difference between. But Regal was also, well, no, Regal, yeah.
I mean, Regal even like come out and said like, he would offer his advice and no one would take it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like, they don't talk to the old guys anymore, the dinosaurs. They want to talk to someone in their own generation, which is, hey, you know what, to each their own. But that's just another one of those like, really? Well,
that's why William went back.
That's why he left. And then it's like, you got, I mean, I don't know if anyone heard interview last week that Cody Rhodes did regarding his time in AEW. It was mentioned, and he actually said, like, not a knock on AEW, but he said, I felt I was getting worse as a professional wrestler.
Oh, I didn't hear him
because
say that. Okay.
And his reasoning was this: because the difference between AEW and WWE, and this is why road agents would be helpful, they don't go on the road, they only have their live shows. So he'd be like, I would only have a match once a month because I'd be on Dynamite every week cutting promos. But then when I had a match, I wasn't getting the repetition. I wasn't in the ring. I wasn't. We weren't seeing what was working in front of a live crowd. So he said he felt like towards the end he was starting to take a step backwards. He was becoming a worse wrestler, and now he's like feeling, now that he goes to live events, the importance of house shows,
get those
TV,
reps in.
you get those reps, and you get the reaction from the crowd. That's a key too. On
a side note related to that was brought up today by Bully Ray on Busted Open with the women's match from Dynamite of Britt Baker and Taya Valkyrie, and it was pretty sloppy. And he said that he's like, I expected it to be pretty good. It wasn't great at all. And he said that exact reason, Joe. He's like, when you are a wrestler and you're wrestling once a month or even once a week and that's it, he's like, ring rust can set in. He's like, so maybe that was the case with these two, that maybe when they would lock up again things could get better. But that's interesting that Cody had that same thought, and Bully Ray, of course, being such a veteran of the game, recognized that too. Of geez, this is how AEW runs their business, and that could be a reason why this match didn't turn out too well.
And we're seeing it in their matches now too. I feel like we're talking about AEW too much now, but it's like Final Cut is they're now spot fest. They're just getting their stuff in without telling a story, because it's really they're in the ring once a month, some of these guys and girls.
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of felt that in the main event yesterday. I felt like we had seen all we could possibly seen from the Orange Cassidy AR Fox match, and from the Swerve and Darby. Yeah, those were both like long matches with a lot of big spots that when I got to the main event, it was just like, I think we've kind of seen it all, guys, right? We've kind of, unless somebody's gonna, set someone on fire, I think we're about done here.
Oh, great. Moxley's gonna be set on fire.
I know. Sorry for giving ideas like that, but that's kind of how I felt. So nevertheless, it seemed like a missed opportunity. I mean, Tony, bring him in as an agent and then maybe convince him to do it some other time being a manager. Like, get Bret Hart in your company.
Like Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn might be wrestling on Wednesday.
That was so stupid.
Well, if he's the only ECW guy on the roster, right? Because Taz can't.
No, but it's stupid. They kept saying like, ECW. It's like, you realize you're mentioning your competition's brand, right? Because they own ECW. It's like, and you're saying it over and over again, and the crowd starts chanting ECW. I'm like,
well, but it's all right. I think it's okay because it's a dead brand. It's not like
a dead brand, but they don't own it.
They don't, but at least I thought it worked for the live crowd. Again, Jerry Lynn's not the first of 10 or 15 guys I think of when ECW. Hey, you had Adam Cole's longtime buddy Sabu at your pay-per-view. Maybe Sabu could come out and defend ECW. That's somebody that you think about. Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, maybe bring in RVD.
Where's Raven?
Where's Raven?
There is an ECW guy on the roster. Chris Jericho.
True.
I think Justin Roberts is going to come in and say, this main event is pinfall or when time allows, or whatever he says. If there's only 8 minutes, I think it's 10:01 on TBS with our AEW chat.
Man, who knows? It seems like a missed opportunity, I think, overall. But anyway, let's
hey, happy back. 200 episodes.
Yeah, no. Here's the 200 more.
Good luck with 200 more.
Absolutely. Let's take a look back, because guys, we talked a lot about the SummerSlam card and projected card last week, because everything's pretty much lined up for next Saturday. So I thought this would be fun. I pulled up the cards for the SummerSlam from 5 years ago, 2018, and 10 years ago, 2013. And I just want to go down the line of the whole card, and we can kind of comment on like where these guys are now or girls are on now, or just like what we remember from that time. Maybe, I mean, some of these I didn't remember at all. And I'm like, is that a match that happened? Okay. So let's start with 5 years ago, 2018. What a year. The kickoff show match. This could be the main event at AEW Collision next week. It's Andrade versus Rusev. That was your kickoff match. Look at that. 5 years later, they're still doing it on TNT.
One time a month.
Look at that. Once a month, as we said. We had Cedric Alexander defeat Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight title. We had the B team. Listen to this one. The B team. Now, was that?
That was Bo Dallas and Axel.
Bo.
Wow. Yeah. They defeat the...
Because they were the best.
That's what B was? B was the best?
Yes.
They defeated the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championship. That's one for the FTR book that they write someday.
How careers have changed.
Yes. How have they changed? You know, like, is it any wonder why the Revival left for AEW? No offense to Bo and Axel, but boy, that's a funny one. This one I had no recollection of. Seth Rollins defeats Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. You guys remember anything about this feud? I don't remember a thing.
I don't remember.
I think it was when Ziggler was with McIntyre and Shane McMahon. And like they were basically running Monday Night
SmackDown.
Raw. Okay, Raw. It was Raw. But yeah, I remember the feud. It was like,
I don't remember.
It was basically, it was Drew and Ziggler pretty much being boys with McMahon.
I do remember that. I remember them being boys. Okay, so now
I feel like if I remember that correctly, it was more of a focus on Shane, not as much on the other guys.
Got it. Okay. The New Day defeat the Bludgeon Brothers by DQ for the SmackDown tag titles. Not much to say about that, I don't think. Braun Strowman defeats Kevin Owens in less than 2 minutes. That feud was like Kevin Owens being afraid of Braun. Yeah. And like I think one time he like got dumped in a porta-john. He was hiding from him. Yeah, that was a bad one. I think Braun was Money in the Bank champ at that time. Or briefcase holder, I should say. Charlotte defeats Carmella and Becky Lynch for the SmackDown title. Do you guys remember what happens right after that?
Yeah, I wrote it down, but it was I'll say it when we're done. What? I wrote down my 3 things from this SummerSlam that I remember the most. So let me get to that after you're done.
Okay, all right. So big things happened there. Samoa Joe defeats AJ Styles WWE Championship. I don't know if that might have been DQ.
It was a DQ. Yes.
Was that because like Samoa Joe was talking trash to AJ's wife in the front row? Mm-hmm. Maybe. Okay. All right. So that's good stuff. The Miz defeats Daniel Bryan. This must have been right after Bryan came back at WrestleMania.
Yes, he beat him because of he was trying to get Daniel Bryan to see his bad side, which he wasn't, and Maurice was in the front row and gave the Miz brass knucks. And when Daniel Bryan did the dive outside the ring, Miz hit him with it and gave the knucks back to Maurice. So he won by cheating, but he still won.
Now, did you remember that without this topic?
No, I had to look it up.
You did look it up. Okay.
But I do remember watching it.
My God, damn, that's detailed.
I think I was in your basement for this.
Probably. One. Yeah. We definitely did that more than once here. We had Finn Balor defeating Baron Corbin. I think this was Finn's Demon debut on the main roster. I think it was quick.
No, it wasn't his Demon debut. His Demon debut was against Seth Rollins, where he
Universal title. Yeah, of course. This one I didn't remember. Nakamura defeats Jeff Hardy. Kev, any remembrance of this one?
I don't remember jack shit on any of these. I'm not lying.
Where were you 5 years ago?
2018 was not the greatest year.
Were you in Louisville in 18?
Let's just
maybe I don't know. Did they have the network? Did they have the network in Kentucky?
It just shows how the amount of matches, right? Sometimes
we'll get to that. Yep. So there's that one. Ronda defeats Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. I think that was a quick one because it was just like Ronda's going to win. And Roman beats Brock in a 6-minute match. I don't remember much. I feel like Braun teased the cash in at the end, and maybe
at the beginning. He did.
Okay,
this
the beginning of the match.
He did it at the beginning. Like Roman came out first, all boos. Yeah. Brock comes out next, all boos. Then you hear run, and Braun comes out and says, "I'm gonna cash in on whoever wins."
Yeah.
But he doesn't because he get like Brock takes him out or whatever.
I think
but
that's
it's like,
I think Brock
and
took him out and
the crowd was just like nobody wanted either guy to win.
Right. Yeah. This is not Bloodline Roman.
Yeah. This was not Tribal Chief. This was not Cowboy Brock.
Chief. Yeah, this isn't Cowboy Brock. Yeah, this that's why it was a 6-minute match and why they had Braun there to get the crowd invested somehow.
And it was like an almost 6.5 hour event. So
yes,
they needed to wake the crowd up.
And that's what you said, Kev. I want to make sure at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 matches if you count the kickoff match. Holy shit.
Yeah,
my
so
God.
The kickoff
AEW's had that too lately, but boy.
Yeah, that was back when the kickoff was like at 5 and like there'd be a match an hour, but those kickoff matches were only like 5 minutes long. Yeah. And the crowd's there the whole time. But yeah, this was a good idea going back and looking at 5 years and 10 years ago. Yes. So this is what I remember.
Yeah, what is their takeaways? Yeah.
All right, so Birth of the Man.
Yep, 100%.
Becky Lynch turned heel, but she didn't because it backfired.
The crowd erupted.
The crowd. This is the problem with Charlotte. 5 years later, we had the same story 5 years later. She shoehorned herself into another match that she didn't deserve.
Yeah.
And they're doing a triple threat again. And they think that she's the face of this. It's the same story again, and it's going to backfire on them again because Bianca will probably turn on Charlotte, but then the crowd will
go, yeah.
Yes. This was the birth of the man, and they never learned. Number 2, 2018 was a bad year for WWE. It was
a lot of DQs,
too many DQs. Yeah. They had 2 championship matches ending in DQ where the challenger wins, but they don't win the championship. Doing it once is bad. Doing it twice, especially for the WWE championship, that's ridiculous. And then too late on Roman. This was he should have won at WrestleMania. And they didn't have it happen. So I'm kind of glad that they're not following that story of having Cody versus Roman at SummerSlam, because Roman was set to beat Brock. This was the infamous WrestleMania where Brock, when he won, threw the belt, threw the championship at Vince, and then left.
You see that backstage.
Yeah, you see that backstage. And it's like, and it was a 6-minute match because the event was going on for almost 7 hours. But yeah, the backfire on Becky, they thought it was her first time turning heel, and the crowd loved her. Yeah. Because they were sick of Charlotte. 5 years later,
it could be deja vu.
It's still the same thing. It was supposed to be Carmella versus Becky, and Charlotte politics her way into the match as the face, and it's happening again.
Yeah. Isn't that funny to when the office feels like, okay, so Becky, you're gonna slap her and you'll be the heel, and when the crowd reacts the complete opposite way, which seems so easy to understand on paper, that of course they're gonna cheer her on because she got screwed because of Charlotte. Like, they're not gonna root for Charlotte. It's so funny how those situations happen that seem so easy on paper, and they can think a completely different way. And hey, it all worked out for the best for Becky Lynch. It was the beginning of the man, like you said, Joe. Let's take a look at 10 years ago, 2013.
And we already know Kevin doesn't remember 2018 at all.
Oh, shit! You give me 15 years ago, I'll be like,
Kev, were you in Lansing?
10 years ago, I was in Lebanon, Kentucky.
Okay, all right. So
you're like 2018. Kentucky. I don't remember anything. Did I watch wrestling then? Was Thunder still on? I don't know.
I was not married yet. It was a whole nother world for me. How about this?
2013. Okay. 2013. I'm like, you were married in 2018.
14. Yes. Yeah. We're going 10 years back now.
Oh man, I was married at both of those.
How about this kickoff match, guys? Rob Van Dam defeats Dean Ambrose for the U.S. title. I want to go back and watch this match.
Me too.
I would love this match to be on the 200th episode of Dynamite. I'd be down. Come on, Tony Khan. Let's bring back the kickoff from SummerSlam 2013. What happened here?
With the co-main event of the kickoff from 2018?
Yeah, yes. I can't believe this. I've got no recollection. Who knows if I even watched it?
I don't remember
10 years ago. I don't remember anything about this, but I'd love to go and see it. Like, was Roman ringside? Was Seth ringside? Because they're not on the card. So I have to go find this now that I discovered this looking this back. The first match, Bray Wyatt defeats Kane in a Ring of Fire match. So the ring it was like the Inferno match, but you didn't have to like set your opponent on fire. I read it was just a match where fire was around it. I don't really remember that, but when I read it, I was like, okay, yeah, I at least kind of remember that, but I don't remember seeing the match. How about this one? Cody Rhodes defeats Damian Sandow. Team Rhodes Scholars.
Yeah.
Combust. Wow. I mean, what do you
remember?
Sandow
say to that? Was the Mr. Money in the Bank at the time.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I think he won it by like pushing Cody off the ladder, mm-hmm. So that caused the Rhodes Scholars breakup. But boy, 10 years later, there's one guy that we haven't seen in probably 6 years, and one guy who's basically the biggest babyface in wrestling.
Sounds like B Team and Revival from.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah,
that's
Alberto Del Rio defeats Christian for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't remember anything specifically, but I remember all those matches. They had a series of them. They were all good.
Yeah.
Natalia defeated Brie Bella. Mm-hmm. No. Brock defeats CM Punk in a no DQ match, and I think that was the best match. Maybe not of the night, not necessarily. Some people could think of a different one, but that was a hell of a match. Brock beat the shit out of CM Punk. That was a great feud and a great match. Don't remember much about this one. Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn, the Dream Team, defeat better known as the Dream Team, Dolph and Caitlyn.
The Mega Powers Explode Part 2.
No, that would be her breast implants exploding.
A match made in heaven.
They defeated AJ Lee and Big E. Now, I remember, I'm guessing this happened because I know Dolph, AJ, and Big E were a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe Dolph dumps AJ and gets with Caitlyn, and they were a thing, I guess.
This was after.
Wow.
Let's just go back. This was after Dolph cashed in Money in the Bank the night after Raw.
Yes.
Because it was Big E, AJ, and Ziggler.
Together.
Ziggler all of a sudden becomes a hot property and becomes a face. Then gets a concussion, loses all his momentum. Del Rio gets the championship back, and it's never like done again. But Big E and AJ, and this is just my memory, pretty much turn on Ziggler because they are still the heels.
Okay.
But Ziggler, they were like, let's see how this was one of Dolph's many
people are getting behind Dolph.
Yes. Yeah. So they were basically making Dolph the underdog on this one because of the strength of Big E and the manipulation of AJ.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. I can watch
I don't remember why Caitlyn was in the match, but whatever.
Caitlyn and AJ must have been frenemies, I'm guessing there.
Actually, I do remember now. This is my nerd flag flying right now.
Okay.
I remember it was long-term storytelling. Caitlyn gave Big E a Valentine's that said, "I choose you," if you remember that.
Come on.
It was from the Simpsons. It's like, you remember the Simpsons thing? And it's like, her and
I gave that
Big
to my
E
wife
were
once.
kind of flirtatious. And that's how that came about, because Big E did not go with Caitlyn.
Okay. I kind of remember that.
Two people scorned against the other one.
Yeah.
So I remember that storyline. Ralph Wiggum said it. I remember how awkward that was. And I'm like, wow.
Okay.
She's nerdy like us.
Yeah. So it was the common scorned.
It shouldn't have been on SummerSlam. This should have been on Raw. Again,
oh my God.
I have my notes.
Any chance to get Caitlyn on the SummerSlam card, you've got to do it. All right. So that brings us to the main event, which was Daniel Bryan defeating John Cena for the WWE Championship, which was an amazing match. It was what we thought the grand pinnacle of the Yes movement, and we've got this new star. You guys remember who the special guest referee was for that match?
Triple H.
You said it. And sure enough, pedigree, Randy Orton cashing in. And that's all she wrote. Randy Orton walks out as WWE Championship, and that's really the birth of the Authority and the birth of Daniel Bryan as a B+ player, and all that went down. I'm thinking, guys, I think the Night of Champions match was maybe the next month.
Yeah. Yep.
That we all went to. So I was thinking about that, and Daniel Bryan won that match, and I think the count was fast, and the next night on Raw they gave it back up to Randy Orton. So okay. So was there any other takeaways, Joe, from the dry erase board?
All right, my dry erase board pretty much said it's a 1-match card. I thought CM Brock was mid. I thought it was okay.
Wow. Okay.
But the thing is, they never really did anything with it, because the follow-up to that was Brock was off until Royal Rumble. Okay. So it was all about Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel and Ryback.
Yes, that's who we saw the next month.
That takes away from that match, because there was no follow-up. It was like basically the lackeys and never to be heard again. So I could see why CM Punk was frustrated, because it's like, he could have had something good going on, but then Rybaxel was the birth of Rybaxel. Congratulations. Yes. And it was a 1-match card. It was all about Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. Cena handpicked him.
He did.
He handpicked him on Raw with the crowd. He had the beard is here, pointing to his face. It's like, this shirt is making fun of you. And the crowd went nuts. Triple H just raises his hand and then gives him the pedigree. It was the birth of the Authority, which that storyline lasted about 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That went on.
It was the birth of the Yes movement, but it was really the birth of the Authority.
Correct. Yep. They pulled the swerve on everybody at the end there. Kev, any other takeaways?
I just remember that Natty Brie Bella was my highlight.
Sorry, I glossed over that, Kev. My bad. Who can ever forget?
It's just one of those things where it's loaded with talent.
Yeah.
Right.
and a much better. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A much more manageable 9-match card if you count the kickoff.
And you're also counting the cash in.
I did count the cash in. Yeah, so that's
you take away the cash in. Technically, it's not in the kickoff. You have an 8-card.
Yeah.
Well, the cash in was only an 8-second match.
Yeah, you have an.
Did Randy even do anything, or did he just come?
No, he just came in. He just came in and pinned him because when you take a pedigree from Triple H, you have to be down for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a minimum. Yeah.
It's like I don't know the run time of that event. But then I think they got into the situation of let's see how many people we can get physically on the card, right?
5 years later. Yeah.
Soon after that was the birth of 2-night WrestleManias and different things like that. So okay. So we're going to do a preview next week.
Yeah.
That card next week looks stacked, right? But I'm sure 10 years ago and 5 years ago, we probably said the same thing. Man, this card looks stacked. 13 matches. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. And then you look and it's like,
no, I think like we would have probably said there were some of those matches should have been Raw or SmackDown matches, like the Caitlyn, Dolph Ziggler, AJ, Big E match. That's a Raw match.
5 years ago, I could picture myself going, guys, this is my sleeper match of the night. Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. They could do some great shit. 5 years, I could totally talk myself into that. And now I have no memory of that even happening.
I think I was all like for Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and that was disappointing because it was another DQ finish for a championship match. I mean, again, 2018 was just a bad year.
Yeah. Well, this has been
some
fun.
People disagree with me, but it's like, it was a bad year. It makes you appreciate 2023 at how good this year has been.
They're going to be fun. Doing these more often, like Survivor Series, we do throw those out there next time, and it's a good idea.
No, I think this was fun. Yeah, we don't have to break down every match every week, sort of thing. I think this was cool, and we'll see how the card shapes up. I mean, a lot of these projected things, maybe like 1 or 2 end up on SmackDown next week, like we said. So we'll see what the final card takes place and shapes up.
It seems like SummerSlam historically has led to the birth of a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I noticed
about instances. There's a couple of like really those are big moments.
Yeah, I mean, big I go back to like 1989, the birth, or 1988 SummerSlam was the birth of the Mega Powers exploding because Hogan had eyes for Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big show. I mean, people think it's the second biggest show of the year. So
party of the summer, biggest party
of the summer. Back 5 years ago when there were 13 matches, I used to say it was the biggest party of the summer, fall, and early winter. It's no longer that. Thankfully, we should be home and tucked in our beds. Maybe shortly after midnight, depending on how traffic is. Next week is the preview and predictions show, and we're going to talk about all the things that we're going to be doing SummerSlam weekend, because there is quite a bit going on, and we'll tell you all about it. And I'm sure we'll talk about our plans for social media and videos and everything that goes along with it. Maybe we'll have to do a post-show reaction pod. I don't know. There's all kinds of things in the works. It's exciting. It's fun. The 4 of us will be back together is it the first time since last SummerSlam? Right? I
saw Jay. I've seen everybody.
Well, no, I'm saying all four of us
together, first time. Yeah.
Probably since last SummerSlam.
Okay, so that's dangerous, and that's a good thing, though. All right, well,
gas station pizza, here we come.
That Speedway on Jefferson is calling our name, Kev.
Kevin, you're going to be in Detroit. There's good pizza places there. You don't have to get the gas station one.
Not when it's right in front of you, Kev, though. I don't.
Okay, then Brian will settle for overpriced moonshine shots.
Yeah, I tried. They were not so good. Good old Smokey. Nevertheless, youtube.com/That Wrestling Podcast. At That WrestlePod is for all the socials. Hey guys, I guess we're on X now. I guess that's the name of Twitter.
No, it's still Twitter. There's just no bird.
They just have an X logo, but it's still Twitter.
I think someone who hated birds may be happy about this. Maybe they had something to do with it.
It became his new favorite platform.
The straw that stirs social media got rid of the bird and made it an X.
Don't you know the bird is the word? No longer. All right, whatamaneuver.net is for your merchandise. Enjoy wrestling. We will talk to you next week on That Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow @ThatWrestlePod on social media.